students, in this lecture I will teach you Unit 2.1 Animals. This unit is a nice example to explain how animals and human beings are compared by the poet Walt Whitman, 1819 to 1892, a major figure in early American poetry. In an age when all poetry was rhymed and metrical, Whitman made a break with tradition and wrote a revolutionary new kind of poetry in free verse. He was a nonconformist in all respects, including his social life. The poet tells us that he feels more at home with animals than humans, what he finds complicated and false. Now let's start the poem and explanation. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. So, in the first stanza, the poet says that he could transform. Here, turn means transform. He could transform and he made decision to go and live with the animals. So, by this type of different decision, he want to go and live with animals. Why he decided so? Because they are so placid. Here we can see that placid means not easily upset, and self-contained. It means self-sufficient. It means they are very complete and content at oneself with what they have. Now, why the poet is saying this? In this way, the poet is trying to compare these qualities of animals with the human beings, which are not found in humans. So he is saying, one another hand, human beings are not happy with what they have and they become easily upset. So this is not the problem with animals. That's why the poet wants to go and live with the animals. So he is so fascinated and he can stay and look at the animals and gaze them long and long, hours and hours at a time. So this was the first stanza. Now let's see the next lines. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Here, the meaning of word sweat means to become anxious about something, and whine means high-pitched sound. But here, whining means complaining. So, the poet is trying to say that the animals do not become anxious and they don't complain about the things. They have do this complaining, and like human beings they do not complain at all. So they don't complain about their conditions. Now the most important line, like human being who always awake in the night and thinking about sins they have done in the past, their deeds, their bad deeds. Either they are thinking about what they want to do in the future, and that's after all we humans awake at night and regret about the past or worried about the future. And on other hand, animals have not such worried. They don't think about future ambitions or past deeds and can get good sleep at night. And sometimes human being can't sleep properly at night just because of these thoughts. So, the poet says animals have a better life. They don't lie awake at night and think all this. Here, we can see that make me sick means disgusting me. So, human beings are always talking about what God wants us to do instead of animals. They simply live their life without thinking about what God wants them to do. So he says that like human beings, the animals don't make him disgusted by their thoughts. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Here the word demented means mad. So the poet is saying animals are not mad and not dissatisfied like human beings, and they are not crazy. Here the word mania means craze. So animals have not any craze of owning things like human beings, and they don't collect many things to show off like human being does. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respected or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. Here, the word kneels means to bend down on one's knees. In this poem, kneels means to show respect also. Here, animals do not kneel on another, nor bow down to one another. Human beings bow down for so many reasons, but animals don't do this. The animals do not bother about the tradition or show of any respects, and they also don't care about the past traditions like human being who think about tradition. Those are coming from the past thousand years of ago, so they are not respectable. Here respectable means to happy and satisfied, or unhappy to the earth, and they are satisfied with what they are and what they have. Finally, the poet says that the animals show their qualities and relations to him, and the poet accepts the animals like their family members and like their society. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge time ago and negligently drop them? So here the word evince means to show. The poet is saying that they bring me tokens. Tokens means those quality like compassion, humility, simplicity, all these to myself, which are their quality. Whose quality? Animal's quality. So he is saying that as a human being, somehow he has lost all his qualities after being an adult. Those qualities were in human beings also, but in childhood. But as he grows in adult, he lost all the qualities. So your poet is commenting on humans and civilization and says we have lost some of our good qualities, and they evince means to show how they are possessing all good qualities. And the poet says that from where the animals have got all these tokens, from where they got tokens. Tokens means virtues like innocence, simplicity, contentment, etc. Now the poet is saying that did he negligently drop that virtues, means did he ignore that good qualities as he grew older? So the poet is saying too many things about animals, how the animals are better than human beings. So from this poem, the poet is telling us to maintain our good qualities and never complain about anything. We should always be happy and contented with what we have. Never complain about anything to God and live our life as we are. Okay. So now here we are finishing our poem.